Boss, I know you haven't been back long, but I prepared a list of missions for you. Open your iDroid.
Please select a mission.
I've taken the job offers Diamond Dogs has received and made a list of those I want you to consider. Which ones you accept is your call. The objectives of the missions I've added are prisoner rescue, facility sabotage, and high-value target elimination. Probably all a walk in the park for you, but they should help you get back on your feet. I put the mission details on a cassette tape. Refer to it if you decide to accept the mission. We'll receive GMP for completing missions, and extracting soldiers and prisoners will boost our ranks. Building up Mother Base is the first step to achieving our goal. If that means wet work, so be it. We're gonna have to get our hands dirty.
Ooh.
I hope you're rested up, because we're not stopping. Not until the pain is gone. The future of Diamond Dogs is in your hands. We're counting on you, boss.
So we have to kill a Soviet commander.
Mission accepted.
Now I can come in from 2 different ways, and they're both danger low. I think I want to come from this way though, because it's more open.
Heading to Afghanistan.
Heading to Afghanistan. Let's do it. Obviously at nighttime. Yeah, let's do it at 6 in the morning. The fuck? Alright. A hero's way.
Your target is a Spetsnaz detachment commander. Your orders are to take him out. With skills like his, it'd be a shame to waste him. But I'll leave the method up to you. Boss, make your way to Deshago Calais and eliminate the target.
Star the Spetsnaz commander. Wow.
Compounds from plants to make medicine or poison for use in new weapons and equipment.
Poison.
Take a look at the plants list on your iDroid to see which ones we need. Then go find them if you get the chance. It'll keep the staff happy too.
Alright, horse, let's go.
Yeah.
I remember there should be a little hidey hole through here.
Yeah.
So my pistol is a sleeping dart pistol. But my gun is a gun.
Yeah.
Extraction.
You've arrived at the objective.
Mother
The
Base.
target should be somewhere in that outpost. And don't forget, he has a Spetsnaz recon detail with him. Keep your guard up.
You can't see anything about it. Is that him?
Is that him? Take a good look at their faces so we can ID the targets.
Is he wearing a beret? We got kids playing in there.
Говорят, хамите, да с Масея Ломан уничтожить.
Yeah, we need that interpreter. Oh,
Marker placed.
Приказы не обсуждаются. Вы должны выполнять данные нам задания. Если сказано, зажгите деревню. Вы ее
Marker placed.
как мы расставим душмана? На родину. Нельзя.
I think that's everyone I can see.
Подает масло. Если командир прикажет мне убить гражданского, я убью командира.
So this is Raven territory. I heard once that some indigenous peoples in Canada and Alaska deify the common raven as a totem. That's tarragon, a type of medicinal plant. It contains trace amounts of a benzodiazepine derivative that's the active ingredient in pentazimine. That's the sturdiest building in the area. It'd be perfect for the target to hole up in.
Alright, let's do this. I'm in. Give me the C4. Alright. That's ready. For either distraction or when I'm leaving.
You have arrived at your destination.
Нет, не делай этого.
On the ground.
Русский speak, please. Вы говорите по-русски?
He speaks Russian. What we need is an interpreter. The main principle of intelligence work is intel gathering. But that's a problem if you don't speak the enemy's language. We need a staff member with the interpreter skill to do a simultaneous interpretation.
Русский speak. No, please. I don't know if I can take emplacements or not yet. California.
You have arrived at your destination.
Go, 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 go. La la la. La 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 la.
materials have already been processed. It may not be much, but we can use them straight away if you bring them back to base.
Kids. We're the kids. We're the kids in America.
Ничего нет.
Комплект, это Дмитрий-3. У нас могут быть нарушители. Полная боевая готовность. Прием. Это КП, понял. Смотрите в оба. Конец связи.
That was an escape though, Jesus. I can't climb up.
Что это? Как ты в порядке?
Комплект, это Дмитрий-3. У нас могут быть нарушители. Полная боевая готовность.
I need to get inside.
Чего? Ау, в порядке?
You destroyed their anti-air radar? It wasn't one of the targets, but that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate a landing zone near the outpost.
Саботаж со стороны врага. Прием. Это КП, понял. Немедленно проверить и сдать оперативную сводку. Конец связи.
Help out if you need to restock.
Вот ты где! Подержись огнем! Были сражайся, если у тебя кишка не тонка!
Putting him to sleep doesn't count as eliminating him. Neither does knocking him out.
Kids, where are the kids?
Support helicopter
Roger.
requested.
Где же ты прячешься?
Hold up, you can do this, by the way.
КП, это 06. Потерял визуальный контакт. Перемещаюсь к последней известной позиции. Прием. Это КП, понял. Будьте начеку и найдите противника. Конец связи.
Oh wait, no, I don't have the speaker on the helicopter yet.
Arriving shortly at LZ. Прием. Это Зуя-1! Вас понял! Подготовка к минометному огню! Конец связи! This is B-Quad. There's an obstruction at the LZ preventing me from landing. Request immediate removal.
Hell yeah. America! Took me 6 hours.
Gaining altitude. КП, это 06. Потерял визуальный контакт. Перемещаюсь к последней известной позиции.
Departing area of
Понял.
operations.
Обследуйте сектор. Но осторожно. Конец связи. Departing.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Development project has been added.
More requirements.
Alright, mission complete, boss. Maybe you'll actually break a sweat next
S.
time, huh?
Hey, come fuck off. Hey, I killed no one. Alright, you got it. Give me some slack. Kiefer. Oh, I didn't listen to a single tape. Helicopter support armament can now be developed.
How you feeling, boss? Getting used to being in the field again? Having choppers and a horse at your disposal is indispensable for operating in the wilds of Afghanistan. I've gone ahead and arranged for you to be able to develop and customize weaponry to support choppers. And you can also develop new equipment for D-Horse if you like. Use your iDroid to start development as needed.
Okay. Special volunteers at B. Oh!
Side ops list updated.
Boss, I know you haven't been back long, but I prepared a list of missions for you. Open your iDroid.
Alright, let's do the 2 side missions. Let's at least do the
Please
interpreter,
select
because that is
landing zone.
a thing we need. It's an interpreter. Snake needs a change of clothes. Get that blood off of him. There we go.
Deploying.
The PsyOps list is comprised of problems we need you to resolve. Objectives to be completed, and information gained from the soldiers and prisoners you've extracted. These aren't missions per se, but if you can take care of them when you're free,
Sniper!
I'd appreciate it.
Штаб, догнали патруль. Обнаружьте основной вражеский боец.
Come on, come on. Jesus.
Please select a landing zone. Please select a landing zone. Support helicopter.
Roger.
Gonna get over there now. So you know what? I might as well.
Ocelot. I hear they started calling you Shalashaska in Afghanistan. What's that about?
You know the term Sharashka? It's slang for a suspicious, hastily thrown together organization. The word became associated with the type of forced labor facility in the Soviet Gulag system. OKB scientists and engineers who'd been convicted of crimes were sent to a Sharashka for forced R&D. The Sharashkas were supervised by Lavrenti Beria of the NKVD, the secret police, under the official name 4th Special Department.
Forced research? That's not very different from what we do here.
Diamond Dogs is different. Everyone here believes in you. Regardless of where they came from or why they're here, they revere you. And they're fighting because
It'll
of
be dawn soon.
And if it
Your
was
surroundings will be easier to see, but that goes for the enemy as well. The guard detail in Soviet outposts changes in the morning too. Watch yourself.
all that matters is that's the concept that's taken shape in their heads.
Oh
The
god.
traces of a group ideology, our superstructure, to put it
No,
in
horse.
Marxist terms.
alright. Go on.
Right. So anyway, at some point the enemy started calling me Sharashka. This was after the war in Afghanistan broke out. While I was keeping an eye on you in that hospital, I was also heading up interrogations here. The men I broke gave up their comrades and families, everything they wanted to protect them most. No real cause for it. I just let myself get caught up in the old Russian pride. And suddenly I received the honor of becoming Special Interrogation Advisor to the forced labor camps. But the more men I interrogated, the more people saw me as just that, the interrogator. It helped cover my real objective of keeping you safe.
You went that far for me.
Let's go, horse.
Far enough to keep you alive. I ended up being pretty well known among the Afghan guerrillas. Some of them would have seen me on the battlefield. And that's how I got the second half of the name. Shashka. It's a sword, a type of saber from the Caucasus. Russian dragoons and Cossacks carry them into battle. Now, the Russian Empire had a general by the name of Fyodor Arturovich Keller.
Say, boss, you see many animals in the field. The truth is, an environmental NGO has asked us to remove wild animals from combat zones. If you have the time, can you extract some back here? There's a reward in it for us.
By the time I got to hearing about it, pronunciation had wound up as Shalashashka.
So, half gulag, half hero sword. It was a perfect fit.
But you see how rumors and ideas about people can get out of hand fast. Once you create a character and put it out there in public mind, it warps and twists with every baseless rumor. And before you know it, all
Your shot-bound stuff. But at least it took that helmet with it.
just fine. I'm pretty used to working under aliases.
Come on, P-Quad.
Marker placed.
Gaining altitude.
Switching area of operations.
Departing.
Fucking hell. So that happens irregularly.
By connecting your iDroid to the onboard computer, you turn the chopper into your own Aerial Command Center, or ACC. Some elements of staff assignment and R&D of weapons and items can only be performed from there. Take as long as you need to consider all your options.
Okay. Let's do this again.
Please select a landing zone.
Hope to God I don't get shot down.
Deploying.
Deploying. Yeah, I'm not playing this game with reflex mode, which basically makes you have bullet time for like 4 seconds and have you react to someone finding you. I find that disencouraging. For stealth, it makes stealth way too easy. When you have reflex mode off, it's like the original Metal Gear. Also, you get the exclamation mark sound. Finally. Okay. We're actually going to our destination instead of getting shot down. While that's happening, let's see if we can develop.
Please specify a project.
I'll get the Ocelot outfit. Let's see if we can hold up, wait. Oh shit. Oh my god. There's a whole convoy. That's also in the mod. There's a lot of ambient things happening now in the game. I thought I heard D-Dog. Oh, there he is.
That wild dog pup. He's a tough little guy. Boss, this is no time to be playing with animals. What are you gonna do, boss?
Fucking, I gotta do it. I'm sorry, boy. No. It's a main character right here, by the way. See it, D-Dog. We're going down this
Roger
way.
that. We'll pick him up.
Actually, while it's happening, again, let's play some cassettes.
So SALT 2 still hasn't gone into effect.
That treaty was drawn up to limit not just the size of the U.S. and Soviet Union's nuclear arsenals, but also their delivery systems. The whole deal. Just when we thought all those years of negotiations had paid off, somebody decides to invade Afghanistan.
We found out there's an English-speaking soldier somewhere in the region.
I'm trying to
He's
listen
a
to
language
Lord.
specialist. His role is to translate information related to the West into Russian. If we can get him to join us, we'll have the upper hand in information warfare. Find this language specialist and extract him.
The detective, what they didn't realize was false nuclear launch data from Peace Walker. And we're on the verge of ordering a retaliatory nuclear strike.
Coleman's big idea? Humans are incapable of destroying themselves. Turns out he never knew what humans are capable of.
If that AI, I mean, the boss, hadn't found a way to stop the fake data transmission, they probably would have gone ahead with the launch.
Deterrence was revealed as the pipe dream it was.
All thanks to you.
That's the target.
The U.S.-Soviet talks looked set to fall through. What happened in Nicaragua no doubt helped trigger a change of heart. But in the end,
The time's to find the politics. When you've grabbed their tail, they turn and bite your hand.
I first met you 20 years ago now. The place was Selenoyarsk in the Soviet Union. We were enemies. I was with the GRU. You were still fighting for America. 1964. Operation
Snake Eater.
Its objective? The assassination of the legendary soldier known as the Boss. When you returned home successful, they awarded you the title Big Boss. Your CO, Zero.
A Soviet soldier in the Green Beret is speaking English. Must be a language specialist. With him on our side,
I'm trying to.
we'd be capable of Russian interpretation support. Try and extract him.
America, there was David O, or as he was to you, Major Zero. Donald Anderson, aka Sigint. Dr. Clark, who went by paramedic during the operation. And the fourth, you. From China, there was Eva. And me, Ocelot, from the Soviet Union. 6 in total. To us, government notions of friend and foe were meaningless. As were East and West, we joined forces by our will alone. Our objective was to fulfill the boss's dying wish, to make the world one. And to do it, Zero used the Philosopher's Legacy, the secret war fund you obtained during Operation Snake Eater. This organization would go on to become Cypher. I, on the other hand, was left with the problem. You only recovered half of the legacy. I had to locate the other half myself. When I found the funds, I passed them on to Zero, just as you wanted.
I still trusted him in those days.
We thought what he was doing was the boss's will, until he started that one project.
Les enfants terribles, Zero called it.
The
You
terrible
parted
children.
ways, as did Eva, leaving only Anderson and Clark still with him. I maintained limited contact. Although, truth be told, we were just keeping tabs on one another. The reason was always you. After you returned to the Army and created Foxhound, you left America. For a time, even I lost track of you. I'd imagine Zero did too. You always were the best when it came to hide and seek. Zero created Cypher, an information network to tap into every corner of the globe. Woven together, Cypher's arteries make the world just one big organism. And that's not all. It also monitors the thorn in Zero's side. That's you, tracking your coordinates wherever you might go. The further you stray from
Those are raw diamonds.
the larger
Collecting them as assets will raise our GMP.
Thank you, Miller.
trying to close the gap between you. But before long, he disappeared from public life. Only a few people had direct contact with him. For a time, I was one of them. Then a year after you fell into your coma, he slipped out of sight entirely. Since then, nothing. No photos, no recordings, not even a reliable rumor as to his...
You gotta extract him.
I tried every method I could think of, but Zero was gone. Freed of his control, his creation, his power continued to grow.
Extraction arrived.
Cypher is a great beast, and Zero was its spine.
Boss, that language specialist you extracted has been very cooperative. Says he's always dreamed of living a free life, like folks in the West. What are the odds, huh? I've gone ahead and placed him in the support
I'm trying to
unit.
listen.
His job is Russian interpretation. Now you'll know what Soviet soldiers are saying. You can even interrogate them. Should give you an edge in the mission.
Zero woven together. It also he said no, but now its body is rotting, riddled with parasites. Parasites like the ones who attacked you 9 years ago in the Caribbean, and then at the hospital.
Skullfire.
Cypher's Black Ops Unit, XOF. They learned where you were, and came to wipe the slate clean. Christmas Eve, 1979, the Soviet Union rolled into Afghanistan. Muslims have revolted against the Soviet-friendly regime established the year before. The DRA forces could no longer contain it themselves, so the Soviets went in to intervene. The Afghan government was powerless and fraught with infighting. They lost the hearts and minds of the people, and that alarmed the Soviet leadership. With the Islamic Revolution happening in Iran, the Soviets felt they had to act fast. or risk the spread of Islamic revivalism. A superpower, sending a motorized rifle division against men on horseback with antique rifles. Everyone thought it'd be over in an instant. Only it wasn't. Some Muslims made their fight a jihad, a holy war, and began a guerrilla campaign on all fronts. A war of attrition. These fighters call themselves Mujahideen. They're being supported by the West through Pakistan. That's why Miller was involved. He was training them near the Zero Line, sponsored by the CIA. The war has become a nightmare for the Soviet troops stationed here. They thought they'd be headed home in 6 months at the most. Then a year passed. 2 years. Now here we are 4 years on with no exit in sight. Afghanistan has become the Soviet Union's Vietnam. The Soviet troops on the ground want to they have homes to go back to. The Afghans have lost theirs. The Soviets destroy the kishlaks, villages, wherever they can. They burn down homes and fields, fill in wells, turn pastures into minefields. It's created a mass of refugees who fled to Pakistan. If the Mujahideen are fish swimming around the villages, the Soviets will go so far as to dry out their ocean. But this has had a big price. There's bitter resentment among the Afghans, and they're taking out their anger on the soldiers on the front lines. Among the Mujahideen are the Pashtun people. They're fiercely devoted to their code of Badal, or revenge. Soviets they've captured have had their hands, feet, and noses cut off before being left to die at the side of the road, just to show their comrades what they're capable of. Friendlies who come across them can do nothing but put them out of their misery. Then they burn down another village in retaliation. And the cycle of vengeance goes on.
Oh, dude, come on. Oh no.
Kaz, what about the unit that attacked us in the mist? You knew something about them.
That wasn't my first run-in with them. It happened right before I was captured by the Soviets. We were on the Zero Line that day, the Afghan side, on our way back from training the Mujahideen at a mountain camp in Kunar province. There's a lot of that work in Afghanistan. Most PFs shy away from it because it draws too much attention. But for us, that was the whole point.
No.
The job itself went great. We just had to make it back to a tribal area in Pakistan. But all of a sudden, visibility got real bad. It was no sandstorm. Our point man gave a strange report. He said he could see skulls in the mist.
Skulls.
The next moment, he went silent. We scrambled into formation, right before his arms and legs came raining down on us. It was always supposed to be a dangerous mission, so I had Diamond Dog's very best with me. We were calling out to each other. But one by one, their voices just went dead. Whatever happened to me, I lost consciousness before I knew it. When I came to, I was in a Soviet camp, tied to an interrogation chair.
Could they be some new Spetsnaz unit?
No. The ones that interrogated me were just the average rank and file. Whatever group attacked us, the way they moved was just insane.
Insane.
That mist, appearing out of nowhere. The Soviets don't have tech like that.
If they did, Ocelot would have heard about it.
I doubt the West does either. Otherwise, the folks at Langley would be sleeping a lot easier.
Why'd they come after you?
Wish I knew. I'm the only one who survived. Though I don't think they planned it that way. If I was their target, they wouldn't have just handed me over to the 40th Army. Whatever the case, we need to watch our step until we know who they really are. And boss,
Sir.
if you ever do run into them again, don't try to take them on. You just get the hell out of there. When I first started dealing with Zero, with Cypher, it was a somewhat parasitic relationship. Though, a mutually beneficial one. Cypher had no army of their own, so they wanted us. They wanted our strength. They approached me as a potential business partner.
But they had other motives.
Cypher coaxed us into Central America, into that US-Soviet proxy war, to fuel Mother Base's growth.
Once we were big enough, they'd force us to join them. That was the plan.
That's why they had Paz, still Zeke.
Right. And if we refused, she would use Zeke to fire a nuke from Mother Base. The world would consider us a liability, and countries would unite to destroy us.
We stopped the launch.
And yet they still took us down, through that fake inspection they orchestrated to cover up their sabotage. That power Cypher wanted. We don't have it anymore. So why are they still after you? Is it just the fear of leaving you alive?
I don't know. Was Zero really... All I know is the man I knew wouldn't want this.
What do you mean?
We have to consider that it might not be Zero we're dealing with.
We know virtually nothing about Cypher anymore. How big they've gotten, what they want, or even who they really are. The new Mother Base started out as a test drilling rig operated by a mineral resources supplier, but their project fell through. The Seychelles government was happy to hand the place over to us. It was just scrap on stilts. So with a few dummy construction companies set up as fronts, we started renovating the half-finished rig. From the outside, it looked like the project was back on rails.
Kaz, you...
What?
I see what you're doing.
That's the target.
Recreating the Mother Base we had 9 years ago. Only this time.
That's right. The Mother Base Cypher thought they destroyed will return from the grave to kill them. We'll prove to the world that we were the victors.
And if we lose again?
Boss, get down.
It was the same way
The enemy sniper.
No!
Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies.
Ocelot, it's gone already.
Any company that draws attention gets liquidated, and its capital is back-channeled into a new company. Most PFs are small-time operations anyway. And in this business, the minnows go bankrupt all the time. We've never aroused suspicion. Plus, we have Hewick.
Hewick?
Human Exploitation Company. It's a business specializing in intel gathering. Think of it as a civilian intelligence agency.
Kaz, that's...
Remember what they were trying to accomplish at the prison facility in Cuba? That gave me the idea. We dispatch moles into conflict zones around the world, and each sets up an intel network on site. Then they stay in place to give us stable points of contact when other nations intervene in the conflicts. Hewick's strength is that it has a cutout at each level. You get your job from one guy, then you hand it off to another. No one has direct access. It's a perfect black box. Hewick members also work their way into the superpowers intelligence agencies to make sure Diamond Dogs gets work. We have those countries by the balls. That's our deterrent when we need it.
Networking. In the intelligence community?
Sure, that's how we've grown this far. And when you go out on missions, intel from Hewick will be there to back you up. But despite all that, Cypher has its eyes on us. The only reason I'm not dead is that they needed to know where you were. Figured if you woke up, I'd go straight to you.
That's why you made that ruckus at the Zero line.
Yeah, to make their own surveillance work against them. I think it took some of the heat off Cyprus.
Kaz.
Then I just had to wait for you to save me. And I've gotten used to waiting.
Kaz.
That's not all. It was a good chance to scout the market. And with the West wanting the Soviets out of Afghanistan, their agencies are bursting at the seams with funding. Boss, let's start by building up our Afghan presence.
Why put Mother Base?
You gotta extract him.
The center of the world here.
We're all the way out in the Indian Ocean.
Come on. Lebanon, Sri Lanka, East Timor.
I'm sorry, boss, but the extraction failed. The support unit just isn't skilled enough.
Including
If
Afghanistan.
you want to increase the success rate of Fulton extractions in bad weather, you need to improve the support unit.
Close as I like.
Out of all the
We have a man
people,
and her
it was
people to help
the
in that
mission.
department. And besides, the Seychelles government owes us a favor.
Owes us.
The Seychelles has strong ties to the east, which the West wanted to shake up. It came to a head 3 years ago in an attempted coup. It was a force of South African mercenaries with U.S. backing behind the scenes. They were only platoon size, but South Africa is home to some heavy PFs. Too much for the Seychelles to handle. In the end, they accepted help from the Tanzanian army and quelled the coup. We set up the deal and handled on-site tactical instruction. That led to some training work for the Seychelles military. And when we put down a mutiny within their forces, well, we made a lot of people happy. They don't pay us. They just let us have a piece of their offshore territory on the promise we'll come running if something else happens.
So we're bodyguards, too.
It's a good setup. We can only take Mother Base so far here. We'll have to find somewhere else when this place starts getting big.
Aren't you being a little hasty?
Nothing hasty about it. You're back with us now.
So, Kaz, the ship that took us from Cyprus, it used to be a whaler.
Yeah, a Japanese vessel. How was the voyage?
It was... stimulating.
She was part of a whaling fleet up until a few years ago. Her displacement isn't anything to write home about, but she can really move. She still had plenty of life left in her, but then the work dried up. Global opposition to whaling has been mounting for years.
Is that right?
The push to ban it has been gaining traction for a little over a decade. Individual species came under protection as the years went on. And then 2 years ago, the IWC adopted a moratorium on commercial whaling. Several countries, including Japan, fought it to the bitter end. But eventually, most whaling companies had no choice but to throw in the towel. You ever tried whale snake?
Can't say that I have.
When I was a kid in Japan, practically everybody ate it.
That good, huh?
The country was poor in those days, and whale was cheap. International opinions changed since then. In any case, that's why we were able to get a bargain price on the ship. Of course, we did end up spending 5 times the purchase price in modifications. We had to really work to fit in all the ESM and communications gear while keeping the whaler look intact. Right now, she's going around conducting SIGINT missions. In the future, we plan to use her as a communications relay base between you and Mother Base, and also as a chopper resupply vessel. Diamond dogs. The word diamond originally comes from the Greek adamas. It means indomitable, unyielding. Other words for the stones often mean eternal bond, fortitude, or purity. The same is true of the Star of Bethlehem flowers you laid on the boss's grave. They represent innocence, as well as chastity, yielding to no man while maintaining one's virtue. In other words, staying loyal to something.
Bear! I want to get the spare. Yes! Good ending. Christ.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
We got one guy.
Prolonged time in the field is bad for the body and mind. I think it's time you took a break. Do it for me.
Alright, Miller,
Come
Jesus.
back to Mother Base ASAP.
Oh. Sandstorms. Whew. Oh, I know what scene this is.
Didi, come back!
Mitch. Here's the dog you brought back. Bit of a troublemaker. Not sure about the breed, though. He'll get bigger? Uh-huh. Like this.
I ate a dick this big.
You know, I can look after him. He's still a pup, so he doesn't listen. I have a feeling someday he'll be useful. I suspect you've discovered a real diamond in the rough.
True.
With a little
diamond dog.
polish, I say we got a true diamond dog on our hands.
DD, right? Oslet raising hounds. Fine.
Come on, Dee Dee.
Jesus. Oh yeah, baby. What? No. Guys, come on. Let's infiltrate the mission. We're starting off good. Game lag.
Psydoc computer
material.
list
It could be
updated.
just what we need to develop new weapons and equipment.
Mother base. Deploying.
Here. Snake. Starring Punish Venom
We need to
Snake.
disable the Soviets' reinforcement system by putting a hole in their base-to-base comms network. Head for the Eastern Communications Post and destroy its comms equipment.
Soviet guards
First, use the
airborne.
binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Be careful down there, boss.
Wonder if that car's gonna come in. Yep, there it is. Alright, I have an idea. Watch this. Alright, I'm just gonna leave the box out in the open. I'm gonna run on behind him.
Что это?
Oh shit. Come on. Oh, come on.
Стоп! Стоп! Обнаружен вражеский боец! Атакуем!
Alright, see ya, D horse. Mother.
Акум! Эй! Ты в порядке? Эй, смотри!
Where are your friends? Spit it out. What is it?
Контакт!
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Destination.
You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
I think I should smoke a good weed though.
Sun will set shortly.
Alright. Cook these.
Thinking of using C4? It's an explosive that you detonate by remote control after you've planted it. He's coming too. Roger that.
Туза!
Есть признак вражеской активности! Берем охрану! Прием! Это КП, понял. Будьте максимально осторожны. Конец связи.
You gotta extract him.
The map has been
That antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking.
КП, это зона 10! У нас проблемы! Усиливаем охрану! Прием! Это КП, понял. Ищите подозрительные. Конец связи.
The last thing they suspected was above them. What? I'm not killing anyone. come on.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Woo!
Это кафе, понял. Приказ всем группам. Отправить все резервы на подкрепление. Приезд связи. Это КП, понял. Проверьте, но осторожно. Конец связи. Это Зоя-2. Враг ушел. Начинаю поиск. Прием. Это КП, понял. Обыщите каждый угол. Они где-то здесь. Конец связи.
The map has been
That's another one of the targets. Do you see any more? Nice. That's the second one. That wasn't the last of them, though. Keep going. Good work. You've completed your objective. Now get out of the hot zone.
Mission info has been updated.
Motherfucker! Oh!
Exfiltrated.
We can't let them follow you. Throw off the enemies on your tail first. All right, the coast is clear.
Mission complete, boss.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Wormwood.
Development project has been added.
What?
Mission complete. That was rough. Thanks for getting us through it.
D? Yeah, I thought so. That was horrible. It was horrible. Oh, that was sucked balls. Base development.
Our army is growing like crazy thanks to you, boss. In fact, it's getting downright crowded around here. To bring a greater number of people on board, we'll need to expand our facilities. To that end, I've created a base development unit. It has two roles, material refinement and platform construction. I'll start with the material refinement part. The base development unit procures material resources on a regular basis according to its level. The materials are stored in containers and placed on the deck of Mother Base. Once they're finished being processed, they can finally be put to use. By using these materials to build new platforms, we'll be able to add a greater number of staff to our ranks. We don't need any specific instructions from you to refine the materials, but I want you to be the one to decide how we construct platforms. Once we have sufficient GMP and the required material resources, you can issue construction orders from your iDroid.
Just a bunch of D's.
Boss, we've received a back channel request from Langley. We're to find a piece of new American military hardware that's gone missing in the mountains of Afghanistan.
Please select
It's a difficult mission, but I'd say you're back in top form by now. Check your iDroid for the details.
Dun 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 dun. Side mission.
Marker placed.
Well, how do you know?
This war. The Kremlin never expected to have this much trouble against the Mujahideen. Afghanistan is a tribal society. Tradition demands that its people stand up to any outsiders who set foot on their land. With the honor of their people at stake, they have everything to fight for. No matter how hard the Soviets hit them, they continue to appear out of nowhere, striking back, then vanishing again. But there's one thing even the Mujahideen fear. Every last one of them. The Soviet gunships. They're highly maneuverable and equipped with massive firepower. Plus, the underside of the fuselage is heavily armored. The Mujahideen can barely scratch them with their small arms. Anyone who hangs around gets mowed down by the gunship's heavy machine guns. This new honeybee weapon that was given to the Hamid fighters, it's no doubt something to help them strike back against the gunships, which makes it a weapon that could change the course of the war. Those guerrilla fighters known as Mujahideen don't actually belong to a single organization. Afghanistan is a multi-ethnic country. You've got the Pashtuns, the Tajiks, Uzbeks, Hazaras, and each of them is split into their own tribes, large and small. Each ethnicity has several rebel organizations that their various tribes gather under. They're united under the banner of jihad, but that doesn't mean they work like a single standing army. Just look at the area around Smasy Fort. A lot of Tajiks used to live there. They fled after the Soviets started their Scorched Earth campaign. With the area uninhabited, the Hamid fighters who are
Wormwood, also known as Absinthium.
Ocelot, I'm trying to listen to you.
We passed through it on the western edge of Pakistan. The Pashtun people have long lived in Afghanistan and western Pakistan. They used to travel back and forth frequently. Then Britain went and established the border that still stands today. The Hamid fighters get generous support from the Pakistani government. The government wants to use them to secure influence over Afghanistan. Their liaison with the Hamids is Inter-Services Intelligence, and behind the ISI, you have the CIA. That's probably how the honeybee ended up in the hands of the Hamid men.
More backstory.
Ocelot said the number of private forces is increasing, and they've modeled themselves after us.
They're a far cry from the likes of us.
But why? 9 years ago, we made enemies of the world as a nuclear-equipped force, independent of ideology or state.
Yes. Sooner or later, the real UN would have stepped in.
So why are they giving these PFs free reign?
That's our fault, too.
What do you mean?
What happened 9 years ago was a real problem for a lot of people. An organization as big as ours, with our facilities, was wiped off the map.
Not an easy thing to hide. But if our existence came to light, so would the names of our clients. We had contracts all over, east and west, from superpowers to banana republics. The lot. Our clients denied all association with the likes of us. They had to make sure things
Where are
didn't
your friends?
blow up on them. But at the same time, they missed us. They really missed us. The demand for armies for hire was as strong as ever. The international community turned a blind eye to what happened to us, despite still needing people who could do our jobs. History couldn't afford to lose us. As soon as we were gone, they needed a replacement. So private forces spread everywhere. And they're all just a phone call away.
But still,
I know. PFs are totally different from what we envisioned. Nation-states, revolutionaries, terrorists, they have a lot of clients, and Cypher is one of them. Cypher stays anonymous, but I know their work when I see it. In the eyes of those clients, the world's PFs are all just expendable pawns. The clients don't have to worry about losing their own men. Nobody knows they're involved, and PFs are cheap. In short, the world is chewing up soldiers and spitting them out. Even some of the old Mother Base's survivors are still working for PFs. Some guys created their own smaller forces. Others were taken on by emerging PFs. Everybody's gone their separate ways. But none of them are living their dream, because they're not fighting with you. Of course, I tried to headhunt as many of them as I could for Diamond Dogs. It was all a waste of time. They said they weren't interested without you to lead them, but now you're back. And everything's gonna change. We'll unite all private forces under you.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Economy. What is a nation? Just a patch of dirt. The bonds among us will surpass nations, and that's what'll put the world under our control. We'll establish a new kind of country. We define the very concept of it. Even Cypher will be below us. An extraterritorial federation of
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
states of force. Once word of Big Boss's return starts traveling, that'll be our true deterrent against Cypher. In other words, no one will dare to come gunning for you.
how do you figure?
Cypher lacks a large-scale fighting force. PFs are the perfect tool for them. But those PFs revere you, the legendary Big Boss. If Cypher killed you now, they wouldn't take it lying down. Maybe they'd even go looking for revenge, but they definitely wouldn't keep doing Cypher's dirty work, even if it put their lives at stake. That's why it's no longer a benefit to Cypher to get rid of you. The very fact that you're alive is our greatest defense against Cypher.
Nice to know. It'll buy us some time while we get back to full strength.
Just keep in mind that what
Oh
I'm
no,
saying
they're
is
parking in
generalizing a lot. In practice, the PFs around the world don't know your face. Just declaring that you're Big Boss won't be enough to convince them. And if they see you as an enemy, they'll come at you with everything they've got.
Some hero.
That's why you need to bring them back to Mother Base. Show them on your terms that you really are the one and only Big Boss. Once you've proven that, they won't hesitate to join us.
You gotta extract him.
Что случилось? Ответьте в 6.
It's no good, boss. Attacking like that won't cut it. Aim somewhere else. Or
The
aim
truck
through
saw
different
me.
Updated.
What? What just happened? What just happened? Seriously.
Boss, as requested, we've added an analyzer function to your binoculars. Now you can view soldiers or POWs and get a readout on their rank or any special skills they might have. Depending on their skills, they may even be able to develop new types of weapons or items. Try it out the next time you're thinking of folding someone.
Select a mission.
Over the
Mission
fence.
accepted. Deploying.
What?
Boss, the Soviet engineer is being held prisoner at the Wacht Sin barracks. You need to find him and get him out. He tried to defect from the base camp up north, but it didn't work out.
Oh.
Now they're holding him at Wacht Sin. He's offered his technical skills to us as long as we can guarantee his safety. You have to
Starring
extract
the
target.
bionics engineer.
Boss, your target just happens to be the man who developed your prosthetic hand. He's the only one capable of maintaining it. If we bring him in, I'm sure he'll be able to modify it.
Yep. Yep, Ocelot. Got ya.
Be careful down there, boss.
The target should be somewhere in that area. That's the Wacht Sin barracks. The target is somewhere inside that outpost. The Soviets consider him a traitor now, so he'll be treated like any other prisoner.
Alright, let's go in.
You have arrived at your destination.
Where are your friends?
Spit it out.
Нет, не делай этого!
Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
That time of the year.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
You gonna target that, or alright? There we go. No, fine. God dang it, Snake.
You have arrived at your destination.
Pick up the body! Whew!
Analysis complete.
Okay. the Unark blueprint.
Hands up. Lie down. Where are your friends? Spit it out.
Coming too. Roger that.
Where are your friends?
Where are your friends?
Extract him.
Good boy.
Where are the others? Talk.
Yeah, I don't have time for you. So anything in here? No. Oh my God, Snake.
Boss, you've entered a building. Always keep an escape route in mind when you head indoors. If you get surrounded, you'll have nowhere to run.
Oh yeah, cassettes.
Snake, do you remember Amanda?
Yeah, I do.
Their revolution was a success. Somoza resigned. Nicaragua has a new government. Amanda's really working hard for her country to be reborn.
Good for them.
She says she wishes Chico could be there.
That revolution was the dream. For Amanda, for Chico, and their father.
That chopper was no place for Chico to die. I'd like to at least think history will remember his part in the revolution.
When you pick up a gun, there's always a chance you'll die for nothing. He knew that as well as the rest. Now that he's gone, it's up to the rest of us to decide what it was all worth. If we don't, there's nothing to prove that Chico ever lived at all. We're his mark on the world.
Amanda told us that Strangelove contacted her after the revolutionaries came to power in Nicaragua. Strangelove.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I remember her.
We'd lost touch with her, until Amanda heard from her out of the blue. She told Amanda she wanted to salvage Peace Walker's drive
You gotta extract him.
from the bottom of Lake Nicaragua. Amanda passed the request on to her friends in the new administration. She's a national hero now, after all. So Strangelove got a Soviet military aircraft to transport something to somewhere. But apparently the cargo wasn't big enough to have been Peace Walker itself.
So what was it?
Who knows? We recovered Peace Walker's nuclear warhead ourselves 9 years ago. What could Strangelove have been after? Amanda said she didn't mention what her reason was or where she was headed. Nicaragua is a socialist state now. With Amanda vouching for her, the government didn't feel the need to concern itself with the details. All Strangelove told Amanda was that she was going to continue her research, and that the rest was a secret. Right before the attack, Huey was in the control tower to prepare for the inspectors. He was with them when it all went down. The control tower collapsed with the rest of its strut. His body was never recovered. But he was the one who met the inspection party when they arrived. And he was the one who showed the nuclear inspectors to the tower. You remember the way it went. First he recommends we agree to the inspection. Then he gives them the okay without our permission. All the time acting as if he was doing us a favor. On top of that, he even had the guards disarmed that day. It would send the wrong message, he said. Whatever the angle, it all leads back to Huey. I curse my own stupidity for not realizing sooner. Huey escaped with that unit by chopper.
That's the target.
9 long years. The other reason I was operating around Afghanistan was to dig up his location.
Huey's in Afghanistan?
Yes, and I have a good idea where. Now we just wait for the right
Great. If there's nothing in the way overhead, you should be able to Fulton him.
He's going to tell us who our guests really were that used a fake nuclear inspection to blast our home into the ocean.
Target extraction confirmed. Your objective's complete. Exfiltrate out of... Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I got this, boys. Off he goes.
You gotta extract him.
Yes, Miller,
I did. But that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate
How
a landing
close?
zone near the
Oh,
outpost.
crap.
Helicopter requested.
That close, sorry. Miller, that's pretty close. Hold up. Chopper, where are you?
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Pequod, get over here.
On station at LZ.
Let's go.
Gaining altitude.
Departing area of operations.
Departing.
We made it, boys.
Extraction arrived.
That was tense. Fuck. We got 9 people.
Development project.
We can make the MP5.
Yes. Mission complete. Boss, that was exceptional.
Hey, baby.
rescued has been extremely cooperative. The guys on the R&D team are glad to have him aboard. Thing is, his specialty isn't mechanics, but something called bionics, engineering based on biology. He's already submitted a proposal for modifying your prosthetic arm. If you're interested,
Yes.
go ahead and give the development order.
Thank you. I was about to say please. 4%. Let's go to Mother Base.
Please select a landing zone. Heading to Mother Base.
Oh.
Halt! You see that? Now that's discipline. Following orders like a real diamond dog. Soon it'll be... Hey, no! Stay! Stay! Didi! Go! No, maybe not yet. But soon. Soon.
Oh my god. Dog, please. Literally.
Sun will set shortly.
Alright. This is better. Conditions to stealth him. Ass. Lord, okay. Well, I'll be done for the moment. Done a lot.